so yesterday we met the ill Nana. We met the ill Nana, all right? In all her sexual energy. She is the goddess of Easter. People better do their research. People better do their research. Lord have mercy. So yeah, we met Inanna yesterday, and we got to see her voracious sexual appetite, which goes hand in hand with what history says about her being a sexual deity, a fertility goddess. Okay. We also got to see a new king appointed, a new king of Ununki. Okay. So the son of Imnikar, Lugal Banda. Y'all remember Lugal was the messenger that died on the way back from Arata, right? And they thought he was dead and gone, but boy, popped back up. 5-6 months later, he just popped back up in the city, alive, right? And almost walked right to his death again by walking into the room of Inanna, the bedroom of nighttime pleasures. Okay, Inanna was gonna put that killer coochie on him. Okay, so for people that don't know what I'm talking about, the men that sleep with Inanna, when she wake up in the morning, they be dead. Not because they just died, because she been to slit their damn throat. She's the Black Widow. Okay, she have sex with these men, and then she kill them. That's Shiva. That's Kali. So Lugal Banda returned to the city alive. Everybody was happy and excited. Nobody more happy and excited than Inanna. She saw Lugal Banda and she said, "Demuzi!" Banda was like, "Who she talking about, cuz? I just came back." Who she talking about? She was like, "Demuzi!" All right. And for the people that don't know, Demuzi was her husband-to-be who tragically died while trying to escape from what he thought was emissaries, right? And he slipped on a rock, fell to his death. Demuzi was the youngest son of Enki, and he was set to wed Inanna. When he died, I guess that drove her crazy. That made her a little mad, okay? And this is what we see from Inanna. We don't see you notice that Inanna don't act nothing like Ninhursag. Ninhursag is all about peace. She's all about intelligence, wisdom. Inanna all about partying, turning up, fucking something, right? I'm just keeping it real. So you see the differences in the personalities, okay? So when she saw Lugal Banda, she was so excited. She said, "Come to my room immediately, and I'm gonna bust it open for you. Come on." Lugal Banda don't know what's going on, though. He don't know that Inanna been having sex with these men and been killing these men. So Lugal was just happy. He was like, "Damn, dog, I hit a lick. I came back from the dead, and now I get a fresh piece of meat from the queen, from the god. I get a goddess." So Lugal is like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm in, I done made it, right?" But Lugal Banda's homeboys is like, "Don't go. Stop. Don't go, cuz." He like, "Why y'all tripping? Y'all don't want nothing. Y'all don't want to. Y'all just jealous. Y'all just jealous because she want me." Right? So Lugal Banda, he spends the night with Inanna. And when he wakes up in the morning, he's still alive. Happy days are here. He made it. He made it through that killer coochie. So Inanna wakes up and she said, "Oh, he's still alive. I can't believe he's still alive. I must have the power of immortality." So this crazy ass woman thought because this man was still alive, that means that she's immortal. And at that point, she declared herself a god amongst men. She wanted to be worshipped as a goddess. Okay? Once her family, her dad and her mom, who's Nanar, who, if you take my class, you're going to learn that Nanar is the god Allah. Okay? Nanar said, "No, we don't do that. That ain't what we do. We don't carry ourselves as God because we know who God is." This is what y'all need to realize. The Anunnaki know who God is, and they respect God. Some of them. So Nanar said, hell no, you're not gonna parade yourself around like a god. This is not. Enki and Leo had a problem with it. Okay? So this is key in your in understanding that the Anunnaki was not down here trying to be God. The circumstances led to them being worshipped as gods. It's a difference. You got to get the explanation. You got to come to class, get the explanation, okay? So Inanna proclaimed herself to be a god because she thought that she had the power of immortality because Lugal Banda survived the killer coochie. If you want to know all about the killer coochie, see the last video. Okay. So here we are today. Oh, no. I got one more piece for the background. We also ran into Gilgamesh. Everybody know about Gilgamesh. Everybody know about the Epic of Gilgamesh. Right? This Greek mythology hero. So we ran into Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was the son of Lugal Banda and Ninsul. So he ascended to the throne after Lugal Banda. And when Gilgamesh was king, one of the things that he had on his mind was, would he live an immortal life the way the Anunnaki did, or will he die as a man? So he goes to his mother and he asks his mother, he said, Mom, although I am 2/3 a god, will I live as the gods live, or will I die as a man? His mama told him, well, as long as you stay on the earth, you're going to die as a man. But if you go to Nibiru, where you can receive that plant of life or that bread of life, that water of life or that bread of life, then at that time you can eat that and your life be extended as the Anunnaki is. Okay? So Lugal, not Lugal. So Gilgamesh's mom petitions Utu, who is Gilgamesh's great-great-grandfather, petitions Utu to allow him to travel to the landing place so that he can take a trip back to Nibiru and get this bread of life. Well, on this journey, he was accompanied by what we know now to be a cyborg called Enkidu, or a clone cyborg, whatever you want to call him. Enki made a cyborg to accompany him. Now, I know that sounds crazy for anybody that don't know what's going on, but this is the truth, okay? They fashioned a being without blood, a being that did not come from the womb. This is what they said. So we know this to be a cyborg or a clone of some sort. Okay, so this being was fashioned to protect Gilgamesh, because after all, Gilgamesh was a king. Gilgamesh couldn't be walking from land to land just by himself. You got to have somebody there to protect him. So they created Enkidu for his protection. On this journey to the landing place, when they got there, it was guarded. It was guarded by two creatures. Okay. There was a fire-breathing dragon of some sort, some type of fire-breathing animal at the gate. But once they got inside, they came upon the bull of Enlil that also was a fire-breathing, or they say deathly snorts. They said deathly snorts. So they ran upon the bull of Enlil. This was a chimera. This was a spliced creature. This was a creature that they had mixed human parts with a bull, with something else. They really did have these type of creatures. The Anunnaki really did create those mythological creatures. Come to class. I'll tell you all about it. So they had spliced gene creatures. And this is exactly what Gilgamesh and them ran upon. Matter of fact, I think we showed a picture. So this is a depiction of the bull of Enlil, you know what I mean? Over in some museum somewhere, okay? For all the people that want to think that the Anunnaki some kind of myth, guys, who building shit like this? If this was a myth, people that want to think that the Anunnaki some kind of myth, guys, who building shit like this? If this was a myth, Who in the hell taking the time to create something this exquisite 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago? If people was building this shit 5,000 years ago, again, we should be living in Wakanda today. And they was way bigger than us. That's why all of their statues reflect their actual size. Do y'all understand that? When we build a statue, don't we do the same thing? Go look at Michael Jordan's statue in front of the United Center. It's about 6 feet. So they built these things to reflect their actual size and their actual stature. So, you know, for people who don't know who the Anunnaki is, go do your research, man. You're going to see these busts. You're going to see these reliefs everywhere. These are not the Assyrians. That's what dumbass baby brains like to say. Oh, you're talking about the Assyrians? No, the Assyrians were the people of that time. The Anunnaki is a different class. Just like people be talking about the Sumerians. Every time you talk about the Anunnaki, these motherfuckers be talking about, who you talking about, the Sumerians? No, dumb. The Sumerians were the people, the black-headed people. The Anunnaki was a different level, a different caste, okay? So like I say, man, that's why I got to teach this shit. That's why I got to teach it, because ain't nobody else going to teach it the right way. Ain't nobody else going to teach it the right way, so I got to do it. All right. So, all right, gang, we finna get this thing going. Like I said, we met Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh went and he traveled to the landing place in which he ran into the bull of Enlil. Enkidu smashed the bull of Enlil, beat it to death, because Enkidu was a monster, right? So he beat it to death. When Enlil found out that they had destroyed his creature, it made him really angry. Enlil cried, and he says, somebody got to be held responsible. So he did not hold Gilgamesh responsible, because that was his great-great-great-great-grandson. But he decided to hold the clone, the android, or whatever you want to call it, Enkidu. He decided to hold Enkidu responsible. So he had Enkidu killed or decommissioned, whichever one you want to go with. All right? Then Gilgamesh was allowed to travel on this journey. Gilgamesh went into the subterranean worlds, of Tiamun. He went underground. And when he went underground, he ran into Sesudra, who we know as Noah. Okay, the name Noah is not the actual name. This man's name was Sesudra. All right. So he ran into Noah underground. And it is my opinion that Gilgamesh had walked into the inner earth. When they talked about him traveling through subterranean tunnels and coming into this garden of precious stones, this was somewhere in inner earth. I'm telling you right now. So he came upon Sesudra, Noah, with his wife. Now at this time, Noah is almost 60,000 years old. Yeah. Come to class so you can understand how this is possible. But he is 60,000 years old and don't look a day over 32. Because he have the plant of life. He's got that plant that allows them to live everlasting life. Okay. So this is what he received from the Anunnaki. Now, Gilgamesh, who wanted immortality, saw that this plant was good and thought to himself, I need that plant. He was like that girl on Set It Off, I need that money. So Gilgamesh sees the plant, and instead of being honorable, instead of just talking to Sesudra and say, hey man, would you mind if I bite a little bit of that plant or something like that? He decides to do something nefarious. He tied a stone to the legs of Sesudra and his wife. He snatched the plant and ran off, ran off with the plug, ran off on the plug. Now, karma has been around since the beginning of time, and karma is undefeated. So after Gilgamesh did this, he thought it was all good. He thought, hey, I'm going to go eat this plant. Damn, I'm going to live forever. But he decided to take a nap. Should have ate the plant first, but he said, hey, man, I'm tired, man. I've been all in the inner earth. I've been everywhere. I'm tired. Let me lay down. He laid down to take a nap, and a snake appeared. And the snake saw the plant, and the snake took the plant and was gone. So Gilgamesh never got to eat the plant of life. He never got to attain immortality. So he died. So he died. Today we got a chance to take a look at old Gilgamesh. Because like I say, it's a true story. There he is. They found him over, all right, the real life Gilgamesh. With his gold on him, gold, rubies, all kind of stuff, all right? Skin melanated like a motherfucker. Skin melanated like a motherfucker. Let me see something right quick. Hold on. Y'all see this face right here? Y'all see this? Let me show y'all something right quick. I wanted to show you, I got a picture of a black man from the Indus Valley that looked just like this. I got a picture of a black man, a modern day black man from the Indus Valley that looked just like Gilgamesh. If I find that picture, I'm gonna share it with y'all. I didn't see it in there just then though. Oh yeah, Buddy was tall. Buddy was tall. All right, so we finna get this thing underway. That's what we took out. That's what we left off here yesterday. Gilgamesh, the snake had ran off with the plant, and Gilgamesh died. When he tired and was asleep, a snake by the plant's fragrance was attracted. The plant was snatched by the snake from the sleeping Gilgamesh. With the plant, it vanished. In the morning, he discovered his loss. Gilgamesh sat and wept. To Enki, empty-handed, he returned. As a mortal, therein he died. 7 more kings in Enki after Gilgamesh reigned. Then its kingship came to an end. All right. So another thing I want y'all to understand, kingship can be in a region for a number of years, but after so many years, they'll move the kingship to another region. Okay. So I want y'all to understand that that's how it worked at that time. Okay. But eventually, when the Anunnaki was no longer a part of the system, people just retained their kingship. So I would tell you, just like Abu Bakr, right? And Mansa Musa, right? They are Malian kings. They are kings of Mali, right? So whatever kingship that they descended from, they retain that kingship to this day. To the day, whoever the king of Mali is, is related to these people from all the way back then, okay? But they used to move the kingship around, okay? So after Gilgamesh reigned, it was 7 more kings in Ununki. Then the kingship came to an end. And put up this map. All right, it's a good map of ancient Babylonia. So this is Kish. This is where Kish was located. Some of the stuff that we're gonna be talking about today gonna be on here. Babili. All right. Found me a good map. Precisely when the count of 1,000 years was complete, it was to Urim, the city of Nanar and Ningal, was the kingship of the first region transferred. Okay, so let me show y'all where they transferred it to. It went from Ununki. Let's try this other map. Okay, here we go. It went from Ununki to Urim, which they call Okay? And was under the rulership of Nanar. I told y'all Nanar is the second son of Enlil, and Nanar is also called the moon god. And this is where Islam gets its symbolism of the crescent moon from Nanar. Nanar is essentially Allah, the moon god, okay? So Nanar was over this region, over He was over okay? That's where they transferred the kingship to Urim, the city of Nanar and Ningal. To all the matters that in the other religions were occurring, Marduk gave much heed. By Inanna's dreams and visions, to Dumuzi's domain alluding, Ra was disturbed. To counteract Inanna's schemes of expansion, he was determined. Okay, so Ra and Inanna is still having this spat going on. Ra is still disturbed by the idea of Inanna wanting to take over the second region, which is Africa. Okay, North Africa. Okay, and so this is what's going to cause that spat between them to keep billowing into wars. Okay. In the matters of resurrection and immortality, he found much to ponder. The thought of divine godship to him greatly appeared. To be a great god himself, he announced. Just like Inanna. Okay, so this is Ra announcing himself as a god. You're seeing Amun-Ra become your God today. He's still your God today. If you call yourself a Christian, Amun-Ra is still your God because he is the God of Christianity. Okay? So he decided to declare himself a God amongst men. By what to Gilgamesh in good measure an earthling was permitted, Ra was angered. So he mad that somebody had gave permission for Gilgamesh to be able to have immortality. Okay? So when he heard about that, he was like, this nigga is not even a full-blood Anunnaki. Right? He said, how y'all gonna give him this ability and not give me the ability to revive life? That's what he was mad about, because Enki didn't give him the MEs to revive life, but you want to give this half-human the ability to have everlasting life. So he was mad about that. He always mad about something. But a clever way wherewith the loyalty of kings and people to retain, he deemed it. If demigods, the gateway to immortality, are shown, let this to the kings of my region apply. Slow down, let's listen. Listen. He says that if they gonna allow, I'm gonna put it in my words so you'll understand it. He says if they are going to allow a half-breed to have access to immortality, then let this also apply to the kings of my region. Okay, do y'all understand that? This is him. First of all, this is also showing you that there's a power behind the power, right? He's the one that appointed kings. That's the story of the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki appointed the pharaohs. They appointed the kingship, okay? So he is saying that, hey, man, if y'all gonna let a half-breed do it, I'm gonna give it to my king, the people in my region. But he didn't do that. He did not give his people the ability to have immortality. He finessed his people. This is the great finessing. Okay, so in the Egyptology, you're going to hear a lot about the Book of the Dead. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what the Book of the Dead. Give me a 2 if you don't. 1 in the chat if you know what the Book of the Dead is. 2 if you don't. All right. So for the people that are not familiar with the Book of the Dead, it is I'm not gonna say it's really it's hard to say that it's a manuscript, but it's basically a manuscript that talks about the funerary processes and the rites of life after death. Okay, so it's all about the afterlife. It's about being able to. It's a book that they put together to show the processes of achieving life after death. Okay, so basically, you know, he wrote all these steps out and said, if you follow these steps, then you will be able to achieve the afterlife. Okay, now this information was only to be bestowed upon them through Ra. Okay, it wasn't for everybody. This basically was for the kings of the region. Okay, so this is where you get the mummification process. When you see mummies in Egypt, these people were mummified because they thought that they were going to be able to live after death. This was part of that Book of the Dead process, part of the funerary processes, okay? But I want y'all to understand something. It was all a lie. It was all a finessing by Ra. Ra did not have the ability to give everlasting life. But what he did, what he was able to do was use this to incentivize. Okay, he was able to use this to incentivize the earthlings to work harder. Okay, so imagine that. Imagine if you know what I'm saying, you are engaged in the worship of these Anunnaki, and all of a sudden the Anunnaki God tells you, I'm gonna give you everlasting life if you work hard. Okay, this is exactly what he told them. He told them, he who brings me the most gold, I will grant them everlasting life. I will grant them life after death. Okay, so this was a trap to make the humans of that civilization work harder. Okay, it was all a finesse. It was all a finesse because we ain't had one Egyptian come back yet and say, hey, I'm back. I achieved life after death. You know what I'm saying? So it was all a finessing. He never had the ability to give life after death. Okay? If demigods, the gateway to immortality, are shown, let this to the kings of my region also apply. So did Marduk in the second region by the name Ra, known to himself, say, let the kings of my region of Neteru offspring be to Nibiru in an afterlife journey. Did y'all just hear that? I'm gonna read that again because I think I've told y'all once before that the concept of heaven has been heavily misinterpreted. Y'all think heaven is this place where you're gonna go and meet God. There is no heaven in that form. Wherever the consciousness exists, guys, I'm telling you right now, ain't no sense in you trying to figure that out. It ain't no sense in you trying to figure that out. You're not going to figure that out. We do not know where consciousnesses exist. We do not know where consciousness exists. Consciousness is the great God. We do not know where consciousness exists. Okay? So, like, that's a part of the baby brainism, is convincing you on this idea of this place called heaven that you're going to go to after you die. Okay? So, no, heaven is not, well, let me take that back. The heaven that they told y'all about is a physical place. The heaven that they told y'all about is a physical place. That physical place is Nibiru. It's the home of the Anunnaki. So it wouldn't have been nothing if Marduk was to take somebody on a spaceship back to Nibiru. And then, you know, if you are a primitive human, you got to understand the times. These people believed whatever the fuck the Anunnaki said. They had to. They didn't have no reference of knowledge where they could be like, oh, man, you lying. Do y'all understand, to reject information, you have to have a great reference of knowledge? These people didn't have a great reference of knowledge. They couldn't reject no information. They believed every damn thing. That's what you got to wrap your mind around. Understand that. Y'all think that these people were operating on the same computing power of the brain that we operating on? That the primitive times, those people were operating on about maybe 0.5%. Right, Jay Swing? It's a lot of confusion. It's a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion. That's what I'm trying to peel it back. Trying to peel it back. A lot of confusion here. So what I've tried to do is I tried to explain to y'all how this works. So the Anunnaki here getting gold. Their whole main purpose was to get this gold at first. They amassed a great deal of gold. So what do you think they did with all that gold after they fixed their issue? They started to wear that gold. They started to eat that gold. They started to live in, they started building with that gold. They started paving the roads with that gold. Huh? Ain't that what they told y'all about heaven? That the roads are paved with gold? Well, so is Nibiru. Coincidence? I think not. Ra was taking niggas to Nibiru talking about, man, this heaven, you dead. Ra was taking live people. Ra was telling them folks that they dead and then putting their ass in them ships and going back to Nibiru and saying, hey, man, you here? Here you go. You're in heaven. Welcome to heaven, bro. So it's some niggas up there from Egypt right now, still up there now. Still up there right now, thinking they in heaven. Tripping. Tripping. I'm trying to tell you, I would not lie to y'all, dog. Swear to God, I've been researching a long time, man. It was all a finesse. We got to be okay with not knowing some things. We need to be okay without knowing some things, man. We want to know everything. We want to know what God is, what God looks like, where God exists. You ain't supposed to know that shit. You ain't earned it. You ain't earned the right to know of God and know what God is and to have that level of understanding. That is the problem with humanity. Humanity is on the first rung and they want to be on rung 1,000. You got to walk up the other rungs. You got to walk up the other steps to get to 1,000. You can't be on one and hoping to have the knowledge of the man that's on 1,000. That's the problem. It's okay with saying we don't know. We don't know. We don't understand. Because when you start thinking you know shit, that's when you start looking like a boo-boo the fool. I seen a video yesterday of a Tibetan monk levitating off the ground. Levitating off the ground. Motherfuckers was like, damn, how you do that? Oh, because he done dedicated his entire life to spiritualism. That's how he can. That's how he's able to do that. He's dedicated his entire life to spiritualism. So if anybody gonna understand God, it's gonna be them people. It ain't gonna be your hot Cheeto eating ass, your 20-piece wing, fried crispy eating ass. It ain't gonna be you. You ain't gonna have that knowledge. It's gonna be the people that dedicate themselves to spiritualism. Okay? So Ra finessed these people. Ra made his people. Ra made the pharaohs think that he had the ability to grant life after death. I'm telling y'all right now, all of that afterlife bullshit was a complete finessing of these people. These people didn't have great understanding. If you keep telling yourself, man, them people were smart back then, that's where you fucked up, because they wasn't. That's where you messed up. If you keep telling yourself, man, them people were smart back then. No, that's because you're looking at the pyramid. You're looking at the pyramids and you're thinking, oh, they built the pyramids. They didn't build them. That's your problem. You think they built them. They didn't build them. We saw the pyramids they built. Hated it. We know what they pyramids look like. I don't feel like going through my files, but trust me, we know what the pyramids that the humans look like. They look like shit. And most of them fell apart. Most of them are just step pyramids type deals. They all look like shit and they fell apart. But the ones built by the Anunnaki still standing. That's one of the things I want y'all to understand, man. I be telling y'all, to understand this knowledge, you have to have a great deal of understanding about the time period you're talking about. You cannot be assuming that these people from these time periods had the same level of knowledge that we got today. We got the greatest level of common sense that man has ever had, but it's because we got a great wealth of knowledge to pull from. We got a great wealth of knowledge to reference. They didn't have it. Okay? The Adamu was probably using about 0.1% of brain computing power. The Adapa was probably using about 0.5% of computing power. It took almost to medieval, or I would say a little bit out the medieval times, before man started using a little bit over 1% of his brain computing power. Just recently, in the last 25, 30 years, has humanity started to use more than 2% of their computing power. Guys, we smart. We got a long way to go. We using about 3%. So at about 3%, and we using that, imagine what the early primitive people was using. And they had no reference of knowledge. So these folks would have believed whatever the Anunnaki told them. They would have went along with whatever the Anunnaki told them. And this is what happened. Let the kings of my region of Neteru offspring to Nibiru in an afterlife journey. He said, listen, he just told you. He just told you. Now I told folks that a long time ago, and you don't realize it till when you teaching this information. They say it. He just said it. He said to go to Nibiru in an afterlife journey. Case closed. Drop the mic. That's your heaven, gang. That's your heaven. Nibiru. Nubiru. That's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Nubiru. You know how I know? That's where we get the name Nubia from. Nubaya. Nubaya. Nubayru, Nubaya. So did Ra in his realm decree. He taught the kings how to build tombs facing eastward. He told them to face the tombs eastward. Why? So they'd be facing the sun. Right? And what does Ra think he is? Ra said that he is the sun. He is the sun God. Okay, so this is all ritual, but it's all nothing ritual. It's all finessing. To the priest scribes, a long book he dictated. The journey of the afterlife to detail. In detail. The journey of the afterlife in detail. Come on now, didn't I just tell you about the book of the dead? There you go, right there. They talk about it right there. I love it. I love it. I love it. Just told you about the book of the dead. He just explained it to you. What did he say he did? Rod, tell him again. Let the kings of my region of Neteru offspring to Nibiru journey in an afterlife journey. So did Ra in his realm decree. The kings how to build tombs facing eastward he taught. To the prescribes, a long book he dictated. The afterlife journey in detail was described. Finessing. How to reach the Duat, the place of the celestial boats in the book was told. How to there by a stairway to heaven to the imperishable planet journey. Nibiru is your heaven. Of the plant of life partake. The waters of youth to drink. So he wanted, this is all he wanted them to do. He wanted to be able to take them to Nibiru, give them that plant of life, give them that water, and let them live forever. But you know you can't. You know damn well that he wasn't going to never take these folks to no Nibiru. It was all a finessing. Because you can't even, first of all, gang, you can't even just pull into Nibiru. You can't just pop up. You just can't slide into Nibiru. They got that motherfucker guarded, nigga. You run into a force field before you get into there. They got to check you out, see who you is. Oh, I'm from Earth, man. Ra sent me up here. He said it's heaven. Who you know, nigga? Ra. Who the fuck is Ra? So they don't even know that boy on the B-room. He been on Earth his whole life. Had them folks thinking they were going to go to heaven. Of the coming of the gods to earth by Ra was the priest taught. Did y'all hear that? Woo-wee. Woo-wee. Listen to that. Of the coming of the gods to earth by Ra were the priests taught. They taught you, man. That man taught them folks about them coming to the earth. So all these I don't get these black Egyptologists trying to act like the Anunnaki wasn't real. You got these black Egyptologists out here. Oh no, this was all us. We the mighty people, but we out here getting our ass kicked right now. Boy, miss me. Boy, miss me. We so mighty. We were so mighty that we letting the goddamn inferior people kick our ass. Okay. That don't make no sense to me. That don't add up. So the priests were taught of the coming to of the gods coming to earth. Listen to this. Gold is the splendor of life to them, he said. The flesh of the gods it is, to the kings, Ra said. To make expeditions to the Abzu in the lower domain to obtain gold, he instructed the kings. Go get that gold. If you want to please the gods, go get the gold. The more gold you get, the more happy we are. You want to please the gods, go get the gold. See, my God don't need me to go get no gold. My God don't need me to get no money. See, I serve the true God. I serve the real God. Y'all serve men from the Biru that like gold. Come on now. Who you been serving? When by the force of weapons, the kings of Ra's land, not theirs. Hold on, let me read that over. I got that kind of mixed up. Let me read that one more time. When by the force of weapons, the kings of Ra lands, not theirs, conquer, his brothers' realms he invaded. Their ire he caused to arise and grow. So they're just talking about how Ra started to fuck over his own brothers. So let me show y'all something right quick. I knew I should have screenshotted that map. So let me show y'all something right quick. You know what I'm saying? So this is Ra's region. Okay, this is what they call Egypt right here. You know, that's a fake name. This is Nubia and Kim, or Upper Egypt. Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. So what y'all call Sudan today was basically Upper Egypt. So what y'all call Sudan today was basically Upper Egypt. Okay? I want y'all to know that. Sudan, that's why you find pyramids in Sudan. Y'all understand that? Y'all ever seen the Sudanese pyramids? Those were built by the Earthlings. Those weren't built. They look cool, but they just really plain. They just little pyramidal structures. But the reason why you find those pyramids is because, like I say, this is Lower Egypt, this is Upper Egypt. Okay? So these other lands, you see, I don't have the full map, but Libya in Africa was the lands of his brothers. Y'all understand that? His brothers are like Nergal had the lower Abzu. Nergal had South America. South Africa. Okay? Ningal and Jibble had Zimbabwe, all that middle Africa, okay? So all of these different African lands belonged to his brothers. So what does Marduk, y'all want to know what type of nigga Marduk is? He takes his earthling armies and have them encroach on his brother's land. Now you see why his brothers ain't want to help him fight. Y'all remember when Inanna was on his ass about Dumuzi and he ran to the pyramid? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember when he ran to the pyramid and locked himself in the pyramid like a hoe. Like a whole hoe. And this y'all Christian God. Man, y'all better stop. That nigga went and locked himself in a room. That nigga a sucker. His brothers ain't want to come help him fight. They say, hell nah. Nigga Zeta was like, nah, I ain't fucking with that nigga. Like, Dad, I love you, but I ain't fucking with that nigga. Only 2 brothers wanted to help him. The rest of them were like, nah, man, we don't like that nigga at all. At all. So now he's encroaching on his brother's land. What is Marduk up to, the brothers asked of each other, that he tramples over us? They asked their father Enki to appeal. To Kuttah, his father, Ra did not listen. Okay? So Ra didn't listen to Enki. The brothers, say, Dad, go talk to him. See what's going on with him. Enki went talk to him. They say, man, hey man, stay out of your brother's land. Ra didn't listen. To capture all adjoining lands, the kings of Magan and Mahula, Ra directed. To be the master of the 4th region was his heart's plan. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Now, y'all know what the 4th region is, right? Tiamat, the Great Divider. Y'all remember this is the land that was off limits? The Arabian Peninsula, the Sinai Peninsula? Let me get a bigger map. So, all right, here we go. Right here, the Sinai Peninsula. This is what was called Tiamat, the place of the rocket ships. So this land was off limits to Earthlings. Like for real, like you do not go there. Enlil are gonna fuck you up. So Ra decided not only to take over his brother's lands, he said, I'm gonna take this bitch over too. Enter the everlasting war of Canaanites and Israelites. That's how this happened. Ra got the Canaanites. Enlil got the Israelites. Now, these people today calling themselves Ews, They not the original Jews, but they studied they so long. Let me tell y'all what happened. Let me tell you how these people got so indoctrinated into our culture. Because we were the original Israelites, okay? So what happened was when these people integrated into these lands almost 2,000 years ago, they studied that information. They mastered that information. They embraced that information so much that they told themselves that they were Israelites. That's what happened. All they did, and you can do, like today, man, let me tell y'all something. You can move to another town and you can tell everybody in that town that you're a completely different person than who you really are. And people gonna believe that, right? If you move to buttfuck Kentucky right now and don't nobody know you in Kentucky, and you decide I'm gonna change my name, I'm gonna be something else, I'm gonna be something completely different. Man, them folks, you can spend 30 years in buttfuck Kentucky and they gonna think you is whoever you say you is. Right? If you move somewhere and say, hey man, I'm not Chief, my name is Ralph. And if I live there for 30 years, if I tell everybody my name Ralph, they're gonna believe my name was Ralph. My kids gonna believe my name was Ralph, and they kids gonna believe it, and they kids. You see how this happens? But the truth is, I wasn't Ralph at all. So this is the same thing that the fake Jews did. They people embraced this information, and then they told themselves that they were the Israelites, and they passed that down, and they passed that information, and they trained their children in the knowledge. We got disconnected from the knowledge. But they didn't, right? We got disconnected from it. But guess who disconnected us from the knowledge? Who disconnected us from the knowledge? I want y'all to see this shit. Who disconnected us from the knowledge? Well, let me say it like this. No. Well, let me make it easy for you. I love y'all. I love y'all. Watch this. Nah, all y'all wrong. I love y'all, but all y'all wrong. I think y'all not understanding what I'm asking. Who disconnected you from your heritage? Who disconnected you from your heritage? No. Who disconnected you from your heritage? What event took place that allowed you not to be connected to your heritage? Boom. Okay, but wait. That still ain't the answer I want. Thank you. Slavery, right? Okay, now let me show you where I'm going. Who financed slavery? What people financed slavery? What people financed the slave ships that brought these people over into these lands? Talk to me. Who financed? Oh. Now you see it? Oh, no. Somebody say Rockefeller. Come on now. Y'all got to know better than never now. Come on now. Let me pin the answer right quick. There you go. 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 They wasn't no Jews. But they stole your birthright and inheritance. They stole that. Okay? They stole the knowledge. And then the end game was, let us put these motherfuckers in bondage. It's the reason why they put you in bondage. I'm just trying to show you, homie, so it makes sense to you why you were enslaved. You were enslaved for a purpose. You were enslaved because you had a specific birthright that somebody wanted to steal from you. This is the same people. Watch this. Is it a coincidence that them same people is in control of America today? They be working their magic, man. They working their magic. The same motherfuckers that financed the slave trade is the same motherfuckers that run the United States today. Y'all been blaming the redneck. Y'all been blaming the country white boy. Y'all think that he is the one. He worked for the Jews. They were called Khazarian, D-Lin. They were the Khazarians. They come from the Caucasus. They come from up in Russia, near Russia. They are called the Khazars. Do your research. Khazars. Yeah, they became bankers later. They became bankers. They became the banking. They became that. That's how they put the whole system under their power, under their tutelage. But see, y'all got to go all the way back. I'm taking y'all all the way back. I'm not talking about what they became later. I'm talking about, yeah, the Khazars. Now take that word tonight and go research that word. They are called Khazarians. Okay, I'm going to give y'all, let me tell y'all who the Khazars are. Y'all ever heard of gypsies? Put a 1 in the chat if you ever heard of gypsies. Y'all remember that, right? Y'all remember when we were young, we used to hear about gypsies all the time. Watching Fred Sanford or something. Okay, they gypsies. The gypsy people. Same people. Go look at the gypsies. Go pull up what they call Jewish people and go pull up the gypsies and look at them side by side. Same people. So they came down into our lands. All right. They came down into our lands because they was running from persecution. I want to say Genghis Khan or somebody. I might be wrong by that, but somebody was persecuting the fuck out of them where they was from. And then they ended up coming down into our land and converting. They converted over to Judaism. They converted over to Judaism. They stole your birthright the same way the white man stole the religion. He stole your religious information. They stole everything from you, melanated people. All this shit been stole from you. And now they using this shit to keep power over you. I want to teach my people so bad, but my people got to value me enough for me to do this shit. Like, we can't be valuing all this dumbass shit over the truth and information. We can't, I hate to say it like this, guys, but man, we cannot be valuing all this dumbass shit we put money on, all this dumbass people that we invest into. We not investing into the right people because the folks need to know this truth. I can connect all the dots. I can show you exactly how all of this shit unfolded. That's why I'm so comfortable today, because I know the truth. I'm satisfied. I can move on from this world. Now I want to just help. Now I just want to help folks. But I got the truth. I don't walk around every day like not understanding shit, not knowing shit. I got the truth. The Most High gave it to me. I asked for it, and the Most High gave it to me. Oh, I can't wait to rewatch this one. I can't wait to rewatch this one. So there you go, guys. That's where, these so-called Israelites and Canaanites. So the Israelites that we see today, those are not the real Israelites. And the reason why they are, doing what they're doing, because, like I said, at the end of the day, they've convinced themselves that they are these chosen people and that they deserve this birthright, but they are not at all. They are from the synagogue of Satan. They are from the synagogue of Satan. Satan. Set's people. All right? So Ra, like I say, he wanted to conquer this land. To be the master of the 4 regions was his plan. This is what his words. Earth is mine to rule, so adamantly did he say to his father. Earth is mine to rule. Didn't I tell you that he the king of the earth? They took Harry Truman to meet him. I'm going to find that video where they talk about when they took Harry Truman to meet the king of the earth. I'll never forget hearing that. And I was like, who the fuck is the king of the earth? I thought they were talking about some religious shit. They was talking about Satan or Marduk, however you want to, however you want to slice it. Now, this is the account of how Marduk declared himself supreme and built by Billy, and how Inanna, warrior kings commanding made blood flow and sacrilege allowed. I'm going to stop right there because this is a good place to stop. That's a good place to stop, okay? I wanted to cover this part about Ra today because I knew we was going to be talking about, I knew that the course was going to deviate a little bit today because I knew that this is one of the most important parts of this information. It's when Ra declares himself God. It's when Ra tells his people that he have the ability to grant life after death. All of these things are important in getting people to see that these religious concepts have an origin. And it ain't the origin you thought. So I wanted y'all to be able to see this today. I wanted y'all to be able to get this. And it's a lot that we're about to cover over this next week, okay? So yeah, man, I hope y'all had a good time today. I hope y'all had fun. I hope y'all had a good time. Y'all see that Ra and Inanna both declared themselves as gods. There go two of them. We got three of the gods off top. Enlil, Israelite God. Ra. For any people that's struggling with the idea of Amun-Ra being, I don't know how much more information I got to give you about this. The whole Christian story starts from Egypt. Horus, the birth of Horus was the Immaculate Conception. Okay? The story of Osiris and Isis and Horus, that's the Immaculate Conception. Some say it was the Holy Trinity. So all of these Christian ideas come out of Egyptology. So if all of the Christian ideas come out of Egyptology, and I'm telling you, and then let's put two and two together. When we pray, we say Amen. Egypt got a God named Amen. We go to church on Sunday. Egypt had a God that called himself the Sun God and said, worship me on Sunday. So either you connecting the dots or you don't want to. But I think I've proven to y'all that Amen is the Christian God. Amen, the Christian God. Nanar, the Islam God. Enlil, the Israelite God. Inanna, the Hindu God. Enki was a god in Assyria. Enki was worshipped in a lot of lands too. He was also worshipped in Egypt. He was worshipped in Egypt as Ptah. Ptah is the god of is over Ra. Ra is the son of God. This is where we get the concept of the son of God coming from. Ain't that what y'all call Jesus? Hold on. Ain't that what y'all call Jesus? The son of God? Well, Ptah was known as the God of gods, and Ra was known as the son of God because he is the son of Ptah. Come on, I'm gonna drop my mic. I'm gonna drop my mic. I love teaching, man. I hope y'all love the information. Big shout out to y'all, man. Big shout out to the family, man, for just heaping so much love and so much value on your boy. I appreciate that, gang. I appreciate the love, all right? So, yeah, man. Like I say, man, if you got any questions, what we're going to do now, if you got any questions, feel free to put your question up. If I can expound, I will expound, all right? I'm going to be backing up some of these videos tonight. This one probably won't be posted tonight, but some of the other ones will, from the previous days, will be posted, okay? So with that being said, we ain't got no questions. If you got a question, put it up. If you don't, I appreciate the love. Shout out to everybody that supported. Shout out to everybody that gifted it up. We're going to catch some vibes and we're going to ride this thing on out. Let's get it. All right. If we got any questions, I'm gonna want to take it. I'm gonna want to get everybody questions if I got any. Okay. Baptism in the Holy Ghost. Baptism is something that came along in the times of Yeshua. Okay. What y'all gotta understand too, a lot of these things are just religious rites. Just religious rites. You know what I'm saying? All of it, I mean, if you asking me far as a scam go, all religion is a scam. This idea that if you partake in this religion, you're gonna go to heaven. That's a scam. Throw that shit away. Because if that's the case, then what about the Adam and Eve people? What about the Sentinelese people? What about all these people that these indigenous peoples around the world that's not Christians? So throw that shit away anyway. That's just the reason why you try to hold on tight is because it's been brainwashed into you. That's all you know. So my thing is throw all that shit away. All that, none of that means nothing. None of that means nothing because everybody not gonna get baptized. So is everybody in hell? Right? So throw all that. That's like I told y'all guys, in order to truly do this shit, you got to get rid of all of it. You got to get rid of all that. Because if that's the case, then why would God create people and have people living in these indigenous areas that ain't got no access to Christianity, but yet they be damned, right, for not being a part of being a Christian? No. Yeah, so all of that shit is just, you know, and I want to say this too. Let me say this. Now, the Romans didn't create they didn't create Christianity. They didn't create it, my brother. Okay? I keep trying to tell you, you gotta listen, man. Everything is stolen and backwards. Yeshua was teaching the process of Christ consciousness. Okay? They stole Yeshua's story. Okay? Yeshua was walking around the world training people to be Christ-like. So the term Christian came from his followers. So if you were training with Yeshua to be Christ-like, learning how to participate in these processes of ascension, then you were called a Christian. So the Romans didn't create that, big dog. Okay? The Romans simply stole his story and replaced him with their gods. Do you understand that? They ain't steal his story. They didn't start it. They stole his story. They stole the name, the whole concept, and then they replaced it with their gods. So they didn't create Christianity. Christ, it's just that when folks hear Christianity, folks think about church. If you want to see what Christianity looks like, go look at Tibetan monks. Go look at monks in Himalayan monasteries. Go do that. That's Christians. Those are the real Christians. Okay? When you see monks in these monasteries living these spiritual lifestyles, those are the real Christians. Okay? I hope that helps y'all. But y'all got to understand that man has crafted a lot of lies too. Let's
go, y'all. Let's go. Let's see what we
got. Man is crap. What's happening, bro?